Imagine waking up in the middle of a forest with a belt strapped over your mouth, surrounded by strangers, and then suddenly, people start getting hunted for sport. But what nobody realizes is that one of the victims is about to become the hunter's worst nightmare. The movie story opens with a group of friends chatting on their phones. Among them is a woman named Athena, who reminds the others that the day of the hunt is approaching. Their conversation revolves around a disturbing plan to kill several people. Before long, it's obvious they're talking about murder without the slightest hesitation. The scene then shifts to a hidden location where several members of Athena's circle have gathered. Out of nowhere, a frightened and bewildered man shows up. He has no idea where he is or how he ended up there. Another guy acts like he cares and helps the confused man lie down. But the concern is only an act. Moments later, he drives a pen into the man's neck. Blood pours from the wound, and despite his desperate attempts to stay alive, the man's situation quickly gets worse. The commotion soon draws Athena's attention. She calmly walks over to the wounded man and forcefully drives the heel of her sandal into his eye. The brutal attack ended his life instantly. Once he passes away, she uses the same heel to remove his eye. Soon after, we see a young woman waking up in the middle of a forest. Someone has tied a belt super tight around her mouth, preventing her from speaking. As she regains her bearings, she realizes that several other people have also been brought there against their will. Nearby lies an open field, and at its center stands a large wooden crate. One of the captives opens the crate, releasing a small pig that immediately jumps out. Inside the box are also several weapons, which the captives quickly seize. The young woman finds out a key that allows everyone to unlock and remove the belts covering their mouths. Any sense of relief vanishes when gunfire suddenly erupts across the field. The young woman becomes the first casualty. The shooters are soon revealed to be members of Athena's group. One of the captives notices that the shots are being fired from a considerable distance away. As panic spreads, another woman attempts to flee, but accidentally plunges into a deep pit lined with sharp spikes. A man rushes to help her and manages to pull her free. Together, they try to escape through the forest. Their efforts are cut short when he unknowingly triggers a hidden trap, causing a powerful explosion. The blast throws the woman back into the pit. A second man arrives to help, only to discover that her injuries are catastrophic. The explosion has severely damaged the lower half of her body. Unable to bear the pain, she takes the man's gun and ends her own life. The surviving man continues deeper into the forest, where he encounters 3 other captives who have managed to stay alive. Together, they eventually reach a massive wire barrier. 3 of them successfully make it across, but 1 man is left behind. Suddenly, arrows fly from an unseen direction and strike him repeatedly. Refusing to give up, he charges straight at his attackers, hoping to fight back. He never reaches them. More arrows hit their mark, forcing him to the ground. Moments later, explosives land nearby and detonate, killing him instantly. The remaining 3 survivors eventually find a small shop. Inside, they encounter a woman and her husband, who owns the store. Tension quickly rises, leading to an argument between 2 of the survivors and the shopkeeper. Meanwhile, one of the female survivors helps herself to food that has been left out. Soon after eating it, she dies from poisoning. The truth is revealed when the husband and wife put on masks. They release poisonous gas throughout the store, ensuring that the remaining survivors also perish. It becomes clear that the couple are members of Athena's organization. Once their task is complete, they carefully clean the store and dispose of the bodies. They erase every sign of the attack, making the store look as if nothing ever happened. With everything in order, they prepare for the next phase of the hunt. At that moment, a woman named Crystal arrives. She is the central character of the story. After entering the store, she asks where she is and purchases a pack of cigarettes. When the shopkeepers hand back her change, something immediately feels wrong to her. Acting without hesitation, she pulls out a gun and shoots them both. After leaving the store, Crystal removes the license plate from a nearby vehicle. Hidden behind it, she finds a second plate. The discovery confirms her suspicions that she's not where she was led to believe. She realizes she has been transported somewhere completely unfamiliar. While examining the vehicle further, she notices wires connected to an explosive device. Around the same time, a man named Gary approaches. Crystal warns him that the truck may explode, and the two decide to continue together. Before long, a train passes by, and Crystal quickly climbs aboard. Gary follows. Inside, they find a group of people who appear to be refugees. Gary insists that these individuals are merely part of an elaborate deception, but Crystal remains unconvinced. After some time, armed soldiers stop the train and order everyone to disembark. Gary once again warns that things are not what they seem. His concerns are ignored, and he eventually walks away. A man later approaches Gary and remarks that nobody is likely to believe his claims. When Gary realizes the man is speaking English, he immediately becomes suspicious. The stranger reveals that every refugee on the train is genuine, except for him. He explains that the soldiers are real as well, but he himself is an actor participating in the hunt. Meanwhile, Crystal is brought by the soldiers to a camp. There she meets another captive who somehow managed to escape. Not long afterward, a different man offers to drive the two of them. As they travel, the driver repeatedly praises the people behind the hunt. His comments immediately raise Crystal's suspicions. Without warning, she forces him out of the vehicle, and then deliberately runs him over. The impact kills him. The escaped captive is furious. He argues that the man she killed may have been their only way out of the area. However, when they inspect the vehicle more carefully, they discover Gary's body hidden inside. This convinces them that Crystal's instincts may have been correct. Had they trusted the driver, he might have betrayed them as well. The escaped captive then reveals that all the other prisoners have already been killed. Only he and Crystal remain alive. Crystal responds by declaring that she intends to track down the people responsible for putting her through this nightmare. To explain her mindset, she tells a story about a turtle and a rabbit. However, her version differs greatly from the familiar tale, ending in a completely different way. Later, the story returns to the field where the captives first arrived. The secret facility is shown once more. Several hunters are gathered there, alongside the person who trained them. It is finally revealed that Athena is the mastermind behind the entire operation. Eventually, Crystal and the escaped captive reach the location. The man notices the same piglet that had been released earlier. The hunters use the animal as a distraction, drawing attention away from their own positions. Crystal launches her attack and systematically eliminates the hunters one by one. However, their trainer remains alive and eventually confronts her. A fierce battle follows. After an intense and brutal struggle, Crystal succeeds in defeating and killing him. At that very moment, Athena calls the man who has been traveling with Crystal. Attempting to distract him, she asks whether Crystal has been dealt with yet. After overhearing the conversation, Crystal begins to suspect him as well. Convinced that he may have betrayed her, she kills him before he has a chance to defend himself. Crystal then approaches the trainer, who is still clinging to life despite his severe injuries. She forces him to reveal Athena's location. Once she has the information she needs, she ends his life. The movie then flashes back 1 year ago, revealing how the hunt actually began. Athena and her friends were seen exchanging messages about hunting people. In reality, those messages began as a dark joke shared among their private group. However, Crystal and 11 other individuals later exposed the conversation. As a consequence, Athena and her associates lost their jobs. At first, the messages were nothing more than a cruel joke. But after losing their careers, they decided to make the joke a reality. Driven by a desire for revenge, they targeted the people they believed had destroyed their lives. Those individuals were kidnapped and brought into the hunt. When Crystal finally arrives at Athena's residence, she finds her calmly preparing a meal. The two sit together and talk before their inevitable confrontation. Athena claims to know everything about Crystal and openly mocks her background and personal history. Crystal responds by explaining that Athena has made a serious mistake. The Crystal she has been searching for is not actually her. She reveals that the wrong person was captured and forced into the hunt. Their conversation eventually gives way to a brutal fight. Both women take a beating, and before long, they're barely able to stay on their feet. After a brief pause, they struggle back to their feet and continue fighting. In the end, Crystal gains the advantage and defeats Athena, bringing her life to an end. As Crystal stands over her fallen opponent, she notices a rabbit nearby. The sight immediately reminds her of the story she told earlier. In that tale, Crystal represented the turtle, while Athena symbolized the rabbit. With the battle finally over, Crystal sits down and eats the meal Athena had prepared. She then changes into Athena's clothes and takes Athena's dog with her. Finally, she boards Athena's private jet and instructs the pilot to depart. If you were Crystal, would you have taken the jet or gone back to burn the whole system down completely? Share your opinion in the comments. What would you have done in this situation? Here is the end of the movie story. I hope you liked it. If you want more movie breakdowns, subscribe so you don't miss the next movie story recaps.